What if I told you that the most beautiful clouds in the sky actually form in some of the most violent conditions on Earth? Picture this. You're standing outside after a powerful thunderstorm has passed. The sky is clearing, but instead of smooth, flat clouds, you see something extraordinary, hundreds of pouch-like formations hanging from the clouds above, like a field of soft, floating udders or upside-down bubbles. These are Mammatus clouds, and they're one of nature's most striking optical illusions. For centuries, people mistook them for supernatural signs or impending doom. But the real story of how they form is even more fascinating, because these serene-looking clouds are actually born from chaos. To understand why Mammatus clouds look so different from everything else in the sky, we first need to revisit what ordinary clouds are made of. Most clouds form when warm, moist air rises, cools, and condenses into tiny water droplets or ice crystals. They tend to have flat bottoms and fluffy tops, a classic cumulus shape. But Mammatus clouds break all the rules. They pouch downward. They're lumpy, sagging, almost organic in appearance. And they almost always appear on the underside of anvil clouds, the massive, spreading tops of severe thunderstorms. That's your first clue. Mammatus clouds aren't gentle. They're the aftermath of something powerful. Let's dive into the atmosphere during one of these extreme weather events. Inside a mature thunderstorm, there's a violent upward rush of air called an updraft. This updraft can be so strong that it punches through the lower atmosphere and spreads out sideways, forming that classic anvil shape. But what goes up must eventually come down. And in the case of Mammatus clouds, it's not just air falling, it's pockets of cold, dense, saturated air sinking back toward Earth. Now, normally, sinking air warms and evaporates clouds. So why don't Mammatus clouds just disappear? Because inside those sinking pockets, tiny ice crystals are actually growing. Here's how it works. When the saturated air begins to sink, it drags with it microscopic ice particles from the upper parts of the storm. As these particles fall into slightly warmer, moister air below, something counterintuitive happens. The ice crystals grow larger through a process called sublimation. This release of latent heat helps keep the pocket cool, which allows it to keep sinking while still remaining visible as a cloud. Each pouch you see is essentially a self-contained cell of sinking, icy air, a little atmospheric engine working in reverse. But why pouches? Why not just a smooth, sinking layer? The answer lies in turbulence and temperature differences. As these cold pockets descend, they don't do so evenly. Slight variations in temperature, humidity, and wind shear cause some pockets to sink faster than others. The result is an undulating, pouch-like pattern, almost like watching blobs of cold cream sinking through a warmer liquid. This creates the stunning visual effect of hundreds of individual bulges, each one a tiny battle between sinking cold air and the warmer environment resisting it. What's even more intriguing is that Mammatus clouds aren't limited to thunderstorms. They've been observed under other cloud types, like altocumulus and cirrus clouds, and even in the wake of volcanic ash clouds. But the most dramatic and long-lasting displays almost always follow severe weather, supercells, hailstorms, or tornado-producing systems. That's because the stronger the storm, the more pronounced the sinking motion needs to be to restore atmospheric balance. In a way, Mammatus clouds are the sky's way of catching its breath after an explosive outburst for pilots. Mammatus clouds serve as a visual warning, not of incoming storms, but of extreme turbulence. Those beautiful pouches indicate wildly shifting air currents, making the air beneath them notoriously bumpy. For storm chasers and photographers, however, they're a prize, a photogenic reward for braving dangerous weather. And for scientists, they remain an active area of research. We still don't fully understand all the microphysical processes that give them their distinct shape and longevity. So the next time you see those eerie, pouch-like formations hanging silently in the sky, remember, you're not looking at a calm cloud. You're looking at the ghost of a storm, a visible record of violence and beauty intertwined, a reminder that even in the atmosphere's most turbulent moments, there can be breathtaking order. Have you ever seen Mammatus clouds in person? Describe what they looked like in the comments, and if you want to uncover more of nature's hidden mysteries, subscribe to Nature Unlocked.